Hello and welcome back to the Decaf Bubble podcast with me, Abby. Today we are keeping with the theme for February, which is self-love, and we're going to be talking about affirmations. So affirmations, I've been kind of building an affirmation practice for the last few years, pulling from different teachers, different kind of approaches or definitions of affirmations, and I want to share my particular approach that I use as an artist, as a creative, as an entrepreneur, because I have come to believe that mindset is one of the most important things that we must cultivate if we want to create things in the world. If we want to put ourselves out there, if we want to be artistic or creative in any way, we have to develop a healthy, self-loving mindset that is supportive and a safe space basically for our creativity to flourish. Because being creative is really vulnerable, as I'm sure you know very well. Being creative is vulnerable because we're putting ourselves out there, we're putting ourselves into the unknown. It takes so much courage, and I think it's important that we just continually remind ourselves that it's not easy, even when we're feeling like, oh, I should be, better at this by now. This shouldn't be so overwhelming. No, because you are constantly pushing yourself further into the leading edge and into the unknown. So it's never going to stop. If you're truly being creative, it's never going to stop having an element of creative fear, basically. And so in order to kind of mitigate that, we have to have a really self-loving attitude. We can't have the kind of attitude that is just beating up on ourselves and being harsh and being our harshest critic, because it just makes everything 10 times harder. And I'm saying that from experience. I'm definitely someone who needs to work on this self-loving attitude on a regular basis and keep maintaining it. And this is a point that I want to make in general, is like self-love is not like a degree that we get, it's not something that we learn once. It's something that we have to really show up for and maintain. It's kind of like a muscle. It needs regular work at the gym. And so this affirmation practice that I'm going to share with you today is one of the ways that I actually practice self-love, so that it's not just like an airy-fairy concept of, an ideal of like, oh yeah, sure, I love myself, whatever. But it's like a real tangible practice. It's a real thing. It's an attitude, and it's something that I practice. I think affirmations maybe have a bit of a bad rep in some circles, like they're just seen as like some kind of frivolous law of attraction exercise. Or I think the main criticism people would have of affirmations is like, it's this idea of just like saying things that aren't true until we believe they're true, but it's kind of like gaslighting yourself. Like the example is like, I am rich, when like your bank account is empty and you're obviously not rich, and it's kind of seen as this like way of dissociating from reality. And for me, that's really not what affirmations are about. Affirmations are much more about, like I said, cultivating mindset. And in order to do that, we can't just jump to where we want to be. We have to go like one little caterpillar step at a time. And I would say this is probably mostly influenced by Abraham Hicks, like my style of affirmations. Abraham Hicks talks about moving incrementally up the vibrational scale. So like if you're in a low vibration, if you're feeling low, then you can't just jump to the top of the vibrational scale. You want to walk yourself up, and you want to reach for thoughts that feel accessible to where you are, as opposed to just kind of like gaslighting yourself into, I am rich, I'm so happy, when you're like not happy, you're depressed. So Abraham Hicks just like really, I think, nailed this one with like the vibrational scale. We have to acknowledge and honor where we are in order to affirm our way towards where we want to be. So I'm going to give you an overview of my affirmation practice, like generally how I do it, and then I'm going to break it down a little bit further into more detail. So if you want like some more specific instructions, you can kind of walk through. I've got like a 6-step process. I love my little numbered step processes. Like my brain really enjoys that being broken down in that way. So hopefully that will be helpful for you as well. So my overall affirmation practice, I would say the most like that I use affirmations, the time that I use affirmations the most is when I am in a low frequency, when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling anxious or scattered or like unsure of what I'm doing. I'll use affirmations to walk myself up the vibrational scale, as Abraham Hicks teaches, but in like a very self-loving way. So I guess the key point here is that self-love is the goal, and the easiest way to kind of jumpstart yourself into a self-loving attitude is to try and look at yourself almost from another vantage point of like, imagine what someone who loved you would say, or imagine what you would say to someone you love. Like if your best friend was in this situation that you're in right now, how would you speak to them? Like how would you encourage them? And so I use affirmations to encourage myself when I'm feeling down. Like I will literally speak out loud to myself. I will often do this like if I am driving somewhere, like if I'm driving to the gym and my brain feels really scattered, I will just start speaking out loud, and sometimes I'll record myself because it just feels like somebody's listening when I'm recording. Even if it's like imagining my future self is listening, you know, it grounds me. It feels like it keeps me on track. So what does affirmation even mean? Like to me, affirmation is affirming myself. It's affirming how I'm feeling, and it's affirming what I want to be true. It's very powerful to focus on what we want to be true. It's powerful to look for the good things, affirm the good things, and yes, this is about gratitude and looking for the good things around us, but it's also about affirming the good things about ourselves. And that's why this is, for me, such a key practice for self-love, because it's like, if I'm not there affirming myself, like who's gonna do it, right? I can't rely entirely on other people to pick me up and kind of pep talk me into doing the things that I need to do and pursuing my creative goals and being courageous and all of the things that I want to do, right? So it's down to me to affirm myself over and over and over again. And this is what builds that strong mindset. We can literally create neural pathways and strengthen neural pathways towards positivity and a positive attitude about ourselves, and a belief system that really lifts us up and encourages us. The more we consciously practice this, like the little mental weightlifting process of practicing this, the more those neural pathways strengthen and compound and start to shape our belief systems, and then ultimately shape our reality, right? And shape what we're able to do and become and realize in the world. So that is like an overview of my affirmation practice. And now I'm going to walk you through 6 types of affirmations, or like 6 steps for an affirmation practice. This is the order that I would do if I was like in a low space. So we're kind of starting with like the easiest access and moving up the vibrational scale to like the power affirmations at the top. If you jump straight to the top ones, your brain is just going to be annoyed because of how untrue they feel. So if you're already in a good space, you can obviously just jump to like the highest ones. But if not, you want to start with step 1 and you want to build up through the steps to the point where you can access those like power statements. So step 1, so let's just like paint a picture. For example, say I am in a really bad mood. I'm feeling really like scattered, anxious, lost, disconnected, creatively blocked, whatever it is. I'm just having a bad day. And so maybe I will take myself out on a walk with my dog Zephyr, and I really want to feel better. So I will start out with like the first layer of the affirmation practice, which is affirming things that are true. And this is not like complicated truths, like big life truths with a capital T. This is literally just looking around and saying aloud things that are true right now. So it's kind of like a warm-up affirmation. And the goal of this is that it really reduces anxiety and it reduces overwhelm. So you're literally just looking around and you're just affirming things like, the sky is cloudy today. I'm out on a walk. Zephyr is having a good time sniffing. Like whatever it is, just looking around and affirming what is true. And what this does is it's really effective in kind of getting you out of like a spiral, because you're not like focusing too inwards. You start looking out and focusing outward, and that helps just kind of ground you in reality a little bit. This is like if you're in a really bad mental state. So I find this so helpful, just affirming things that are true. The grass is green. There are leaves on the floor because it's autumn. Okay, and then once you've done that for a little while, you might start to feel more grounded. You might feel a little bit more empowered. And then you can move on to the second phase, which is affirming positive things that you did today. So if you're in a negative state, it's very likely that you are choosing to focus on the negative things about your choices, or like what you're doing or what you're not doing or what you're not enough of. So you're going to flip the script by affirming positive things that you did already today. And that might be like, I brushed my teeth this morning. That's good. Like, I ate breakfast. I've brought myself out on a walk. That's great. Like, movement is good. And so you're really like going to the very basics of like affirming what you're getting right. And if you're like a self-critical, naturally overthinking type person like me, you might find it hard to think of those things, but trust me, once you start thinking of a couple, you'll think of a few more. Like, the law of attraction works that way. Like, it works with thoughts as well. If you start thinking a couple positive things and really stretching and really reaching for it, you'll think of a few more. And like, say you've literally done nothing all day, like all you've done is bed rot or whatever. I hate that phrase, but like, say you've just been in bed like scrolling all morning, you'd be like, okay, well, it's really good that I have rested my body this morning because I obviously needed it. And then if you can't think of any other good things you did that day, you could think about the week. Like, well, it was really good that I gave my mum a lift the other day, or it was really good that I wrote a to-do list yesterday, or whatever it is. Like, this is, for me, this is so helpful, because there is like a voice in my head that's like, oh, all of that stuff is not enough. But it's like, but I'm choosing to say these things out loud and affirm that they're good things, they're positive things. And just because somebody like me should be able to do blah, 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 doesn't mean that I don't get to get a little gold star and congratulations when I do it. So as you're listing these good things, these positive things that you did, you also want to affirm like why they're good. So like, as I said, I took myself out on a walk. That's really good because it's good to move my body. That's good for my health. I'm proud of myself for that. I'm proud that I ate breakfast. Like, that's a really nourishing thing for my body. My body is going to have energy today. I'm proud of my efforts. Like, I'm proud of the fact that I organized my to-do list yesterday, whatever. Like, that's going to help me set up to do work today. So yeah, so you're going through these things and you're really like, even if you have to scrape the barrel, you are just finding those positive things and you are milking them. You are just making a massive deal out of it, as if you're like trying to uplift your inner child, like a sad little child who's feeling down, and you're trying to make them feel better and say, no babes, you're doing amazing. Like, look what you did. You freaking ate breakfast. That's amazing. Okay, so now we move on to layer 3, and this is affirming the things that are hard or not what you're wanting right now. So again, this is like as if you are trying to empathize or be like a loving observer of yourself as you are in this moment. You're observing and making statements and kind of like affirming, yeah, these aspects that you're going through right now are hard. I think when we learn about like the law of attraction and we start learning, oh, okay, our thoughts create our reality and we have to be positive all the time, we kind of can lose touch with just the kindness and compassion and empathy of like acknowledging where somebody is. And that's something we need to learn to do for other people and for ourselves. Like if somebody's sad, it's not enough just to be like, well, you'll be fine, like get over it, you know. And that's kind of what we do to ourselves, especially when we learn about the law of attraction and we just think, oh, I have to be positive all the time, otherwise I'm going to manifest bad things. And I think that's kind of where the whole toxic positivity idea comes from. It's like we don't want to be overriding what's really going on. That doesn't mean we have to dwell there. As RuPaul says, like, I look at the darkness but I don't stare at it, I don't get sucked in. Love RuPaul, absolute guru of life. But anyway, so with this third stage, we're affirming things that are difficult or hard or not what we want. Like as Abraham Hicks would say, we're acknowledging the contrast. So for example, like if I'm out on my walk and I'm having a bad day, I might affirm to myself, I'm having a bad day today, I'm finding it tough, you know. I imagine myself almost like looking from the outside in and noticing what's going on. Like, oh, Abby, the avatar Abby is having a hard day. She's feeling anxious. She's having a lot of self-criticism. She's struggling with self-criticism today. Like I'm struggling with self-criticism. I'm feeling creatively blocked. Like that's okay. Like I see that. I acknowledge that that's happening. That's I might even go on to say like that's normal, you know, like I have bad days, and I'm literally saying all this stuff out loud or writing it down, you know, like it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to have negative feelings sometimes. That's part of being human. And so as we affirm ourselves, like I always feel like this weight lift, because there's this weight caused by the resistance to what is happening. There's the part of me that feels bad, and then there's the part of me that feels bad about feeling bad, you know. So we're kind of bypassing that part to just go to the part that feels bad and be like, oh, okay, like you're struggling today, like that's okay, babes, like I'm here, I see you. And this isn't like the end of the world, because like remember, like we've felt bad before and we've also felt good before, and like there are many spectrums of feelings. This is something I always think about, is this concept of state specific memory. Like when we're in a state, it can be really hard to remember that there are any other states. So when you're in a low state, all you can remember is the times you felt low. Whereas when you're happy, you're like, oh, I've never felt bad before and I'll never feel bad again, you know. And that's like one of the most challenging things about mastering mindset, is like remembering when you're in those states that there is a bigger picture. There is like a graph of like a wave form of like up and down, and that is life. So even just affirming that is very helpful, and that's stage 3. And I do want to say, like, if you're not in a bad space, if you're not feeling low, you might not even need stage 1, 2, and 3, because those are specifically designed for just dealing with like negative states and negative thought spirals. So yeah, you can totally skip 1, 2, and 3 if you're already like feeling good. You can go straight to 4. So number 4 affirmation is affirming desire, affirming and validating desire. So this would be the stage of, well, okay, I've already acknowledged like how I'm feeling, and now I'm going to hone in on what desire is being created by this contrast that I'm in, by this negative state that I'm in. So, for example, you might be struggling with self-criticism all morning around a specific project or whatever. And then so you're going to switch to focusing on the desire, which is I really want to be in a flow state. I really want to be creatively inspired. I want to be happily working on my projects. I want it to feel good. I want, this performance that I'm working towards to go well. You start tuning into the desire, because sometimes we're just generally feeling a sense of discontent and we're not sure why. And so when we can pinpoint the desire, we're like, oh, okay, now I have an actual navigation system. I'm not just like swimming around in my feelings. I'm actually like connecting to what I want. And what you want is that lighthouse. It's like bringing you in. So number 4 is, affirming your desires. So like, I want to get into a flow state. Yeah, like it feels good when I work on my projects and I enjoy them. Like it feels really good. It feels good when I feel inspired. It feels good when things are going well, and I affirm that I want things to go well. And once you start like affirming those desires, again, it's like your inner child. Like, yeah, you deserve that. Like you deserve to feel good. I get to feel good. I've felt good before and I want to feel good again. And I love that for me. And it's like, whatever you need to say to just validate the desired states, validate the desired realities, validate that you really want things to go well and it's really important to you. And all these things that you would say to somebody if you were trying to pep talk them and cheer them on and uplift them. So now that we have affirmed and validated the desires that we're feeling, then we move into step 5. So this is when we really start kind of just coming into the freestyle, like the free flow of affirmations. This is like the culmination, the peak. I call this speaking life over yourself, speaking life over myself. This is like prayer. This is like making declarations and standing in the truth that you want to be true. Sometimes we can just jump straight into this. Sometimes we just need to speak life over ourselves. Sometimes we need to build up to it. Maybe like listen to other people speaking life over us. That is totally acceptable as well. Like the point of this episode is not to say that like you can never receive encouragement from others. Of course you can, but it's just like learning to do that for yourself as well. So the key with this is like speak life over yourself and keep it within a believable realm. Like don't leave your body, don't dissociate and just start saying things for the hell of it. Like say things that feel true, and if they don't feel true, find a better way to say them. Find a way that feels true in the moment. So I will often start speaking life over myself and saying like, I see that I am having old fears and anxieties coming up, but I declare that they won't stop me because I am strong. I have a strong mind. I am a powerful, creative person with a strong mind. And I'm literally finding these words that feel powerful and they feel true. And I'll say things like, I've made beautiful things before and I will make beautiful things again. I am proud of all the things that I've made. I trust in my uniqueness. I trust that I've got something I want to say in this world. I believe that there is value to the things that I have to offer. I'm choosing to see the good in myself. I know that my dreams are within me for a reason and I will not give up. I'm going to see it through. And I just keep finding those words, and the more that I speak them, the more that they resonate in my physical voice and my body. You start working yourself up into this kind of like rallying cry of like, yeah, like fuck yeah, I will not be taken out today by some programming that isn't even my own, some creative fear that isn't even my own. You really start to like whip yourself up and speak life over yourself, and you feel that life coming back to you. You feel the blood coming back through your veins, and you're like, yes, this is who I am. And you finally have affirmed yourself back to truth. And that is step 5. And then of course there is step 6, which is like, whew, are you even ready for step 6? But step 6 is just kind of like where we go to that level of choosing power mantras, things that maybe feel a little bit out of our reach in terms of like what we consider to be true. And again, this is not about saying I'm rich when you're clearly not rich, but it's about choosing things that you want to be your reality and just saying them over and over again until they start to build and affect your reality. So power mantras are things that you might collect from somebody else, that you heard somebody else say, and you're like, oh my God, yes, I want that to be my truth. I want that to be my reality. Or maybe it's like you sat down and you had a journaling session and you really figured out like exactly what you want to believe. And then you're just going to create these like power statements out of this new state that you are trying to align yourself with. So some examples of power mantras, like my success is inevitable. I am one of one. I am magnetic. I am exactly where I need to be. I'm a diva. I'm a bad bitch. I'm unstoppable. Everybody loves me. Everything's always working out for me. I'm so lucky. I am a magnet to fortune, and so on and so forth. So as you can tell, if you're in a good mood, if you're in like a fairly positive mindset, these power affirmations, power mantras can feel really empowering. They can feel really fun. Like you can kind of reach out into your Delulu fantasy levels, and that can feel fun as opposed to like disempowering or whatever. So it really is just about like not dissociating and always tuning into like what feels true and what feels doable and what feels reachable, so that you're not using affirmations for that like toxic positivity or like self-gaslighting kind of vibes. So that is my 6-step process of affirmations. I hope you found it helpful. I hope it's supportive to you, whether you're having a bad day or you're just wanting to kind of like juice up and get into an even higher vibe than you're already in. If you want to go a bit deeper into talking about self-love and particularly talking about mindset and conditioning, I am teaching a class on the 17th of January. It's going to be like a class workshop. So I'm going to teach some things and then we're going to do some exercises live together. The class is called Reconditioning for Self-Love. And as I've already spoken about, I feel like a lot on this podcast, self-love is the foundation of a productive creative practice, in my opinion. I don't think we can really bypass the level of self-love. I did a whole episode 12 about self-love and like why and how it enables our creativity to flourish. And so in this workshop, I'm basically going to walk you through the process of understanding how to identify conditioning. So conditioning is the process of like taking in the world, taking in energies and thought forms and beliefs and patterns and habits and behaviors from the world when we're young and impressionable. And we kind of take it in at a young age, and then mostly it's just running unchecked. And so much of the conditioning that we have taken in is from a world that teaches us not to love ourselves and not to be, unconditionally supportive and loving and uplifting towards our creativity. And so we need to understand how to even recognize that conditioning, and then we can decide whether it's helpful. And if we decide it's not helpful, we can then replace it with conditioning that is helpful. And so I'm going to teach you that exact process so that you can, in any situation, whether it's to do with your creativity or anything in your life, you can identify what part of your behavior and your belief system is actually just conditioning. And then once you've identified it, you can change it. You can recondition yourself. And I know there are a lot of people out there teaching different versions of this. I'm just going to be teaching the way that has worked the most effectively for me. And I've, put my own spin on it and made it really simple, which is what I like to do. I like things to be simple. So if you are curious to learn my conditioning process, come to this class on the 17th of February. And of course, the only way to attend this class is to join my membership, the Bubble. But there are many reasons to join the Bubble, one of which is you will have a community of creatives around you. So if that's something that you feel like you're lacking right now, and you could do with, feeling a community of artists around you to kind of keep you on track, keep you accountable. We meet up regularly, we share what we're working on. We have like work in progress circles. We've also just started doing creative cafes, which are like co-working sessions, structured co-working. So we start with like a warm-up. You work on your creative project or whatever it is, and then we have like a check-in at the end. And we had the first one last week, and it was really productive and really beautiful. People worked on novels and applications and what else? Websites. And so I feel like it was a very productive session. I also did some writing in the session, so yeah, loved that. And yeah, what else? I mean, there's so many things in the Bubble. There's a bunch of classes I've already taught. You can watch the replays for those. And you can currently get 50% off your first month. So this is a really good time to join. It's actually about to be the Bubble's first birthday in March, because the doors for the Bubble opened on the 1st of March last year, which is crazy. I can't believe it's already been a whole year. But yeah, I think now, hint, is a good time to get in. So you can use the code Valentine to get 50% off your first month, and that code is valid until the 15th of February, so don't dilly-dally. And yeah, I will see you on the 17th, or I'll see you even before then, because we have other things going on in the Bubble. So come join us. And yeah, until next week, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you soon. Bye.